Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about consoles, and I know not everyone cares about consoles, but we're going to do some quick clown math to explain why you should. So let me start this video by saying the future of Hunt Showdown, regardless of platform, is tied to the success of its console versions. Not dependent on, of course, but tied to. We can guess that about 20% of Hunt's total player base is on console, and if all of those players have the same spending habits as those on PC, that's about 20% of Crytek's revenue from Hunt Showdown. Now imagine if most of those console gamers stopped playing. Think of your own personal budget and then reduce it to 80%. That's not ideal. So those are the stakes. Now let's talk about consoles. Update 112 dropped on live servers recently, and while there have been a few bugs on PC and servers have been all over the place this week, I would say overall the experience on PC has been pretty smooth, at least regarding the update itself. Quest lines are tracking, the reload bug is gone, and all the major features seem to be working aside from the servers, which, is pretty important, but we're skipping over that for now. That isn't the case on the console version. Two new bugs have been plaguing our joystick brethren. For one, there is a bug affecting controller users on PC and console, where when you die, if you click the controller button mapped to spectate your teammate can no longer revive you without a bounty token. Essentially, you become red skulled. You can avoid this bug by moving the cursor and selecting the spectate button on screen, and you'll still be revivable, but if a player doesn't see that PSA, they aren't gonna know. Also, I've seen many people reporting that they can't progress into Act 2 because the UI on console is broken. That's not for every player, but some. If these were isolated incidents, it would be easy to let them go, but the console version of Hunt has a legacy of bugs. Rendering glitches, texture popping, performance issues, failed reconnects, infinite loading screens, etc., etc. And that's in addition to the normal bugs that pop up on the PC platform as well, without any of the graphical improvements that platform offers. I did a video on the console version in November of 2021, around the time they announced that the game would get 60 FPS mode, and I remember thinking when that news dropped that, oh, maybe console is on the up and up, and we are about to see some renewed support. Well, it's 2023, and if Update 112 is showing anything, it isn't exactly a master class on console support. So, to the console players, hats off to your patience, because I understand how frustrating those bugs can be. Don't get me wrong, Hunt is still a fun game on console. The core experience is there, there's just a few extra rough edges that the PC version doesn't have, at least not in the same way. The problem for Crytek is that no game exists in a vacuum. There are other, better supported console experiences. Call of Duty has Warzone and DMZ, which are, okay gameplay wise, but they're optimized pretty well for the platforms they're on. Apex Legends has new modes and current gen versions with better resolutions, frame rates, and fidelity. Even Fortnite has some sections of the map set in the Wild West, and it's actually a pretty good time if you can get over the cartoonish graphics. And an important distinction, all of those games I just mentioned are free to play and cross-play, meaning players can hop in with little or no commitment and play with their friends regardless of platform. I know to many PC elitists that doesn't matter, but again, 1 in 5 Hunt Showdown players are on console. This video isn't meant to be doom and gloom or trying to scold Crytek. Hunt is unique enough that it can rest on its laurels, but not forever. The controller dead zones are dreadful and finicky, the menu UI can be navigated with controllers, but it clearly wasn't meant to be, and the console players have crossplay enabled between Xbox and PlayStation, but players from those opposing platforms can't invite each other, yet they can be matched in random trios. It's just a weird setup. That doesn't even mention the locked 1080p resolution, the hard 60 FPS cap, and the list just goes on. I'm just saying there is a lot of work to be done in addition to the graphical and frame rate improvements the console version needs. I want the console version to be improved, but it won't matter if it shows up too little, too late. However, as I said, there is hope. As we heard in the developer roadmap video, in the distant future, Hunt Showdown will be upgraded to CryEngine 5.11, which will bring features like increased graphical fidelity, HDR, FSR 2.1, and direct storage support. I think many of the bugs we see on the console version will be improved or eliminated just by enabling the game to fully utilize all that extra headroom on the Xbox Series consoles and the PS5. Many of the instances of infinite loading or missing textures on console seem to be tied to the older hardware, like the hard drives in the Xbox One and the PS4. The Xbox Series consoles and PS5 are definitely capable machines, they just need a proper version of the game that isn't running in backwards compatibility mode. So we have to wait a bit, but eventually those new standard features will come. Also, as some astute community members have noticed, Crytek has made a few hires with relevant experience to fix the console version. David Fifield is an industry veteran who has worked on properties like Mech Assault, Halo, and Call of Duty, the latter two being huge console properties. Another recent hire is design director Scott Lucier, who previously worked at Hi-Rez on projects like Smite, Paladins, Realm Royale, and Rogue Company. And whether you like those games or not, they had strong console offerings and Gen 9 support, especially for titles like Rogue Company. That Crytek announcement says Lucier will guide levels, mode, live service designs, and console-specific systems. He's also a former Halo Pro, so yeah, probably a console guy. And that's just two of the public hires with a strong background in recent IPs, but also franchises with a track record of a definitive console experience. If you haven't noticed, Crytek has been on a hiring campaign for some time now, and I can only imagine the other additions match a similar criteria. So, in the future, we will have the software capability to match the hardware performance of the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles thanks to CryEngine 5.11. The roadmap tells us that there's a new commitment to developing Hunt Showdown, and the new talent that has joined the team has some focus and experience on consoles specifically. That means there is at least hope for parity between the platforms, but also an industry competitive console version that will bring in more players to the game. And I don't mean to be a suit about it, but more players means more revenue, and more revenue means more support. Of course, that is the distant future, and there is so much work to be done to get the console version where it should be, but I am hopeful we will see a renewed focus on improving the console experience. Anyway, be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and until the next one, goodbye.